إذن كونغالية أناكي تبون Layeh nation that employ on the unresident of the event.
What happens when someone flirts with you and you flirt right back to another person? In this episode of DKLE Pirate Radio, we welcome Rob Maiolo, an author, introspection enthusiast, and lover of life's big questions. With warmth, wit, and a philosophical heart, Rob joins us to talk about self awareness, connection, and the unexpected power of simply asking the right questions. From his book, The Book with No Answers, to his thoughtful takes on relationships, identity, and the human search for meaning, Rob is here to turn the mirror gently inward. It reminds us how fun that can actually be. Everyone, today we are with Robert. Please, Robert, introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name's Robert. I live here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm an author, very curious individual, someone who likes to ask questions, and I'm very thankful to be on DKLA. Thanks for having me.
And where can our listeners find you online?
I'm on Instagram at Robbie Axelrod, and then there's also my book online, The Book with No Answers, Unlocking the Power of Questions for a Better Life. It's available on Amazon.
Oh, awesome. Well, I have a list of books to read, I must confess, and yours are in the list.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of good books out there. It's tough to get to them all.
So, first of all, I want you to choose a number from 1 to 14.
I'm going to go with 4.
4. Right. Personal growth. Let's start this conversation, talk about it. What are some of the most impactful questions you have asked yourself that led to significant personal growth?
I would say the most basic one is, what do I spend most of my time doing or thinking about? And I think if you spend time thinking about your family, then maybe you're a family-oriented individual. And if you spend time thinking about your career, then maybe you really enjoy your career. And if you spend a lot of time playing golf, like I do, maybe you do really care about golf. And I think, your thoughts and your time kind of get drawn towards things that are important to you. It's easy to get thrown off track and spend time at work when you don't care about work and stuff like that. But if you think about, the things that you often think about during your day, it might pull you in a certain direction. And I think sometimes when people are trying to figure out, okay, what should I work on? What's important to me? What's the next thing I can do to grow? I think if you just focus on, well, what do I think about a lot? That might help you go towards whatever growth you're trying to achieve.
Well, I heard about the 10,000 hour rule, especially when I started studying the arts. First of all, I started in music, and then I went to visual arts. If you dedicate 10,000 hours at something, you will really get good. So I try to spend my 10,000 hours practicing my creative view on things. Well, and I like to compare my art to my art many years ago, like be better than yesterday. I don't like to compare myself to others because I tell about the arts because is my field, but I think when you compare yourself to others, you will always think you are not good at something. And I don't know, when comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. When you compare yourself to others, I think you will feel terrible all the time. And then I remember of a conversation I was having to fellow podcasters about, well, I had a review I received from someone, basically because I didn't know we had an internet outage last Friday, and I was recording there, and we had many glitches.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, but when you put yourself on the internet, bad reviews are gonna happen. It's impossible to avoid them. So I'm thinking just like if you're gonna do what you do, being a podcaster, you just have to accept the fact that people aren't gonna like it. It is 100% impossible to make something that everyone is gonna like. So I mean, the same with the book. People read it and they hate it, and that's fine. It's not for everyone. Not everything's for everyone. It wouldn't be good if it was for everyone. So I think it's like I think that's just part of the creative process. Unfortunately, it's tough.
And someone told me something that really made me reflect. The podcaster said, "If you don't receive a bad review, you are not doing the right thing."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that means that you're not strong enough. If everyone likes it, that means you're just saying like very soft, common things. But if some people love it, then that means some people are gonna hate it. That means you're on the opposite ends, right?
Mm.
So if no one hates it, that means you're not giving it enough. So I think that's very good advice that your friend gave you. Yeah.
So now let's talk about the role of questions. Why do you believe that asking the right questions is more effective than seeking answers from external sources?
I think it's because, I spent a lot of time in my early 20s trying to grow into an adult. And I thought a good way to go about it was to just find what worked for other people. So I looked for answers through whether it be books or podcasts or what other people told me and stuff like that. And I was doing all those things, but it wasn't really working for me personally. And then I realized, well, their answers are based off of their life, their circumstances, their past, who they are, what they've done, what they want, all of these things. And the way they could get those answers is because they asked themselves those questions and they came up with those answers. So if I want to find answers for my life, I have to ask myself questions. And it's kind of like a math equation. You have to ask yourself the right question to get the right answer. And I feel like a lot of people just say, oh, this person does well, I'll take their answer. But the answer they're giving you is based off of their lives. The advice they're giving you is based off of their life and what worked for them. And as I think we could both agree, what works for one person is not necessarily going to work for another person. So if you wanted to find advice that's tailored to you, to your life, the only way to do that is to ask yourself your own questions. And I truly believe that people have more answers than they give themselves
Mhm.
credit for. People, like, I think a lot of people objectively know what the right things to do in life. They just either don't trust themselves or don't feel like they can rely on their own answers, or sometimes they're not asking themselves the right questions. So that's part of the inspiration for the book, is to not just give you a bunch of advice and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. It's ask yourself some questions and find your own answers. And the beauty about it is if I ask myself a question and if you ask yourself a question, we'll come up with two different answers to the same question, but they'll be based off of our own life and our own experiences. So if you want tailored advice that will work for you, the only way to do that is to ask yourself meaningful, impactful, and the right questions. I think that's the best way to go about it.
I really enjoy your answer. It reminds me a book my mother gave me when I was 15 years old, called The Question Behind Question. She was always worried because I'm socially awkward and introvert. And I come from a culture of extraversion. Here we value extroverted people a lot, and they don't respect too much people like me. So they always I always grew up with the sensation of there is something wrong with me. I need to fix myself. And this book really helped me to, instead of blaming myself for everything and putting myself in the victim role, I mean, just telling, oh, poor me, asking, what could I do to make something better next time, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
and it fed my self-discovery and curiosity even more. I've always been curious, but I'm curious about the world and things around me. It's really hard to travel inside yourself and find answers to your questions.
Very, very difficult. It's very difficult because sometimes you don't find the answers you hoped you would have. I think some people are they do self-discovery hoping that they'll find out that they're this great person that tries really hard and works really hard and has their best intentions in mind and is the person they hope they are. But sometimes when you look inside, you realize you're not the person you hoped you are. You're just the person that you are. And sometimes that person's, well, actually, always, that person's not perfect and that person has flaws and that person has made mistakes. And it's very difficult to go inwards and be like, oh man, I'm not perfect and I do have flaws and there are things I can work on. It's very difficult to do. I also find it hilarious that you consider yourself an introvert, but you have a podcast with all these
Yeah.
episodes and you do this incredibly social thing that I think
10
most
years.
introverts could not do at all. Yeah. I don't know many introverts who have a podcast for as long as at all, especially for as long as you've had it. So I find that very interesting.
The one of the things that helped me feeling comfortable and in peace with myself, I must say, is the art and creativity. When I was outside of this field, I was supposed to be a lawyer. It was my choice, but I made the wrong choice. I'm honest enough to say I made the wrong choice. It's a world of vanity, of following rules, and I'm not like this, not at all. And when I started embracing my creativity and getting some help, both my mentor and therapy, they helped me making peace with
Yeah.
this creative side. And now I feel comfortable talking about things I love and creating my own realities, showing my ads on social media every single day, recording lives. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how long these things can take to like be comfortable with yourself to you think like, oh, this is me. Why can't I just be me? Why does this take so long to be me? Like why didn't I know this when I was 16 years old? Like why did I have to go through all this crap of wanting to be a lawyer and doing all the things that you probably didn't want to do? Why couldn't I just be me from the beginning? Wouldn't that have been really nice to just be me from day one? But yeah, these things take time and it's sometimes you don't even know who me is and you have to find that and you have to go through self-discovery and express yourself through art and find yourself on the paper. Yeah, these things take time, which can be frustrating, but I think it makes it more worth it at the end.
Absolutely. And even for starting new relationships, it's easier to me. I'm in an age, many people say, oh, it's so hard to make new friends, start new relationships. And in my case, just because I found my purpose in life, it's getting easier to talk to others and start new relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it'd be difficult to have a podcast but not be good at talking to people and not be good at making new friendships. Like this is, the goal of a podcast episode is to almost like become a friend over an hour and get close with someone. So that's not surprising that you're good at that for sure.
So, now this question I ask to all my guests.
Cool.
Who are the most influential people in your life and how have they shaped your views on self-discovery?
So my parents definitely are the most influential people throughout my whole life, I would say, would be my parents. How have they helped me through my journey of self-discovery is my parents were always 100% okay with who I am. And who I am has changed 100 times since I was a kid. You know what I mean? When I was 16, when I was 20, when I was 26, when I was 24, like I've changed who I am a bunch of times. And they were always okay with that. If I said I wanted to go do this, they'd go, okay. If I said I wanted to go do that, they'd say, okay. I was supposed to go to university in Toronto, and then I decided I want to go to England. They said, okay, go for it. And I went to England. I went to go to university. Like, and I think what that taught me about self-discovery is you have to be okay with the person you become and the person you want to become. And you can't, self-discovery is really difficult if you're just really critical of yourself in terms of like, I shouldn't be this person, I should be that person, or why am I doing this? I should be doing that. Like, there's definitely a sense of you know when you could be doing better and you know when you can improve, but it's really difficult if you're just always hard on yourself and if you're always beating yourself up. And my parents never were that hard on me as a person. They never really beat me up for who I was. They were always okay with kind of who I am and what I wanted to do. And that just taught me that you can be like that to yourself too. You could be kind to yourself. Your parents don't have to be the only kind people. you can also be kind to yourself. So that really taught me about just like acceptance, still trying to do better, still trying to improve, still trying to get better each day, but also just like acceptance for who you are today, I think is something they taught me for sure.
Awesome. Like I told you, I always ask to my guests, and I like to tell the results of this mini survey. Well, many of them always respond, my family, and even me. I'm really influenced by my family.
Mhm.
Especially, and my role model in this life is certainly my great grandmother. She was a really smart woman and strong too. So I don't try to be like her, but she taught me so many great lessons, and I missed her a lot. Since she passed away, I was 15 years old.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
It's wild how someone could pass away so long ago and you still like think about them and miss them, and yeah.
Has a long time, but I was a teenager and our heads is still forming during this time, and it's one of the most important events in my life. Well, but other people answered my husband's wife depend on the gender or even the animals. So these one are the most interesting.
Okay.
Oh, my animals, my cat, my birds.
Yeah. That's a good one. I have a cat named Layeh, funny enough.
Oh,
Yeah. We adopted her a year ago. She's around here somewhere. Yeah, that's why when I saw your name, I'm like, oh my god, her name is spelled Leia. But yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, but my I'm really allergic to cats. I
Oh
must say.
no, unfortunate. So was I, but then we got a cat and it went away after a while. So I think it takes time.
Maybe I had a dog for I talked a lot about her. Her name was Chichi, and she was a Yorkshire. Oh, I love it to sleep and giving her belly rubs. Dogs are really simple.
Yeah, dogs are awesome. I think it's funny when you were talking about parents. One thing I learned I think when you're a kid and you have good parents or grandparents or whatever it is, you think like, well, everybody's parents are great. Everyone has great parents. And then you get older and you realize like a lot of people don't have good parents. Or some people they only have one parent and the other parent took off. And I think as you get older, you like really appreciate your parents because if you have good ones. Because I kind of appreciated my parents when I was a kid, but now as an adult I really realized like, wow, there's a lot of terrible parents out there, and I got like so lucky to have my parents. And that's like I think that's something that takes, maybe in your mid 20s you start to figure it out. I'm 33 now, so I feel like I've definitely figured it out now.
You are 2 years younger than me.
Okay, yeah. So like I think around our age is when you really realize good parents are rare, and I feel very lucky because it could have been much worse.
Yeah, actually, almost 2 years ago, something really decisive happened in my life. My mother suffered a car crash, and I almost lost her. Oh, it was tough. It was tough to take care of her for 8 months because she was always a strong and independent woman, very independent, and she depended on me, on my father, to do everything because she had a concussion and she could barely remind names and places. Yeah, it was tough. I think I started looking at her and at her dad in a completely different way after this.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, is she okay now?
She's okay. She's still with a few memory lapses, but she's stable.
That's good. Yeah, wow. That's good. I'm happy to hear she's okay now. That must have been really difficult to go through.
I remember it was hard to see the one who always said to me the name of stuff. Oh, this is okay. Sometimes she changes my name and my sister, but it's only it's well. I had to tell her she was allergic to seafood, for example. Oh,
Yeah. My mom's allergic to seafood too. That's hilarious.
what a
Yeah.
coincidence.
That's funny. What did you learn in those 8 months taking care of your mother? What did you learn about yourself and your mom?
I learned it. I was stronger than I thought.
Go.
And I stopped underestimating myself too.
Go. Wow, look at that. That's awesome. We're always stronger than we think when we need to be.
I thought I couldn't say no to other people or take care of someone else because I always heard the external noise. You are so weak. You are so silent, and you can't do anything. You will always depend on someone. And I was absorbing that like a sponge. In moments like this, I saw no, they are not right. I can do things by myself, and I can say no. I'm not a fool as they think.
Yeah.
And since then, I came in a different approach of my life.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Isn't it funny how many battles we have just in our head? How many that it's people think the enemies are out there somewhere, and how many enemies are just like right in here. And it's wild. It's so wild. Self-talk is like very, very not talked about, but I think very important for sure.
Absolutely. And I thought nothing was breaking me, and well, I was just absorbing what other people said.
Yeah.
Okay, we are talking about its journey of self-discovery. You mentioned that you are passionate about life's journey and self-discovery. How did your own journey influence your decision to write this book?
Well, I think kind of like I was talking about earlier, how I went through my journey of trying to, become an adult and trying to figure out who I am and what I want and how am I going to get there. I found out that, you know, I was able to come up with a lot of these answers, but the way I did it was through just really honestly boring and tedious and often painful self-discovery, which I did a lot of just like journaling, sitting by myself with my favorite drink or my favorite snack, and just asking myself questions. And they weren't these like crazy philosophical questions. It was, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to wake up every morning and do? And then once I figured out what I want it to look like 20 years from now, what do I have to do today to make that happen? Because it's sometimes difficult to say, okay, I want to do this and I want to do that. But I think if everyone imagined what they want their day to look like 20 years from now, they could probably come up with something pretty good. And I mean, very literally, 20 years from now, if you're 30, imagine when you're 50. What do you want to do when you wake up? Where do you want to live? Do you want to have kids? Do you want to have a husband or wife? Do you want to drive to work? Do you want to walk to work? Do you want to be able to have activities after work? Do you want to be able to drive your kids to school? Do you want like very basic practical things? What do you want your life to look like? And once you figure that out or have a decent idea, then you can work backwards and think, what do I have to do today that will get me to that life 20 years from now? So, for example, if you want to be able to drive your kids to school every morning, then you got to kind of figure out a good career and be able to figure out, okay, how am I going to have that kind of freedom in my life where I can drive my kids to school and still be able to have a job where I can come home? Because there's a lot of people who can't drive their kids to school every morning. Or if I want to be able to, let's say you really want to own a boat and be able to take your kids on your boat. Okay, boats aren't cheap. You got to be near water. You know what I mean? So how are you going to figure that out? If you want to get married, okay, maybe you got to start meeting some people. You want to travel a lot, okay, you're going to need some money to do that. You're going to need flexibility. Like all of these like very basic practical things. If you want to be able to play golf every day, but you don't even know how to play golf right now, maybe you should start learning how to play golf. Like all of these just like very basic things, because I think where I really got stuck in my self-discovery journey was I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. When you're in school, every day they tell you what to do. You know exactly you need to write this, you need to hand in this paper, you need to show up to this lecture at this time in this building, and then you graduate and no one tells you anything. They just say do whatever the hell you want. So my big hurdle in self-discovery was just knowing what to do and thinking about what I wanted my future to look like gave me things to do today. Work on my career, meet someone amazing, work on my golf game. All of these little things I can do that will make 50-year-old me very proud that I did these things today. That's kind of where my self-discovery journey came from. And then I thought, okay, if this is working for me, I'm not a one of one. I'm not some weird dude on some different planet. I'm just a regular guy like everyone else. Maybe it'll work for other people. And then I was able to somehow articulate that into this book, but that's kind of where it started.
Yeah. Oh, I can share with everyone what I want 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Of course, if I meet someone cool, great. But I during the accident, I discovered I'm a demisexual. I like men, but they must be in my inner circle, like my friends. So I'm nurturing better friendships, and I want to travel the world with my business. So small steps are powerful. Then I started talking with people around the world, always killing my Mr. Perfect and my
Hmm.
social anxiety. We must get courage to do it. Well, and next month I'm going to do uh, my other small step. I'll start being a guest in other podcasts
There you
because
go.
I want my business to grow.
Yeah. There you
Uh,
go. And isn't it nice when you just like, again, just you said small step, but isn't it nice to know what those small steps are rather
yeah.
than just sit there and go, I have no clue what to do. I don't know where to go. Like, isn't it nice to just be like, I'm just going to go on someone else's podcast and let's see what that looks like. Or I'm going to travel and maybe try and do one of my podcasts in Peru just to do something different. You know what I mean? Isn't it nice to just like have things to work on? I think that's where people get stuck because they don't even know what to work on. But sometimes having small, little, tangible steps can snowball into bigger ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you talked about Peru. I have a friend of mine who is half Peruvian.
Okay,
Oh,
there you go. Yeah, my best friend Roberto, not my best friend, my good friend Roberto. He's from Peru. That's why he came to me.
but yeah, I want to. And since I promised myself to do small steps and never step back, just a step forward, I see things happening. It's these smaller steps. They are truly powerful, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because they give you confidence, right? Everyone wants to take a big step, like, move to New York City or something like that. But to do that, you need that confidence to do so. And sometimes small steps give you confidence to make big steps. Yeah. So it's good that you're thinking about small steps. I think that a lot of people need to think about that.
So, let's talk about challenges in writing. What was the biggest challenge you faced while writing any book, and how
Yeah.
did you overcome it?
There's so many challenges. Writing is just like, I wish I could explain to someone how painful writing is, especially like my book is like based off of me. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of writing about myself, and it's so painful to write about yourself because if you're going to write a book, you need an editor, and then you need to publish it. So you need an editor who's going to read about you and then go back and say, not that great. That's not good. You shouldn't say this. You should say that. I would cut this. I would cut that. And you put your whole soul onto a piece of paper, and then someone reads it and they go, that's not. I wouldn't do that. And then finally you go through that process. You pour your soul out. You get rejected. You edit. You do all that, and then you publish it and you put it on Amazon, and then maybe someone reads it and they go, "Yeah, that was pretty good." They're talking about your life. They're talking about your entire life's journey, and they go, "Yeah, that's not bad, I guess. Pretty good." Um, so I would say that the hardest part about writing a book is just how painful it is to your ego and to your soul. It is very like almost like creating a stone sculpture where you just have to like chip away at the stone and you're just like beating it, beating it, beating it, but instead of a stone, you're doing it to yourself. That's kind of what it feels like. But the good part is it's very cathartic. You learn things that you wouldn't otherwise know if you didn't spend time sitting and writing. It's very peaceful too. Like I like to write, or when I was writing the book, I did it at night. So maybe 9 p.m. till midnight or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So it's very like quiet and dark and you're to yourself, and that's very like meditative and relaxing. Yeah, it's a roller coaster. It's really fun and then really scary and then really terrible and then really painful and then fun again. It just goes up and down and up and down. And if you can just hang on, something good will come out at the end of it. I think a lot of people at some point they give up. I think a lot of people have wanted to write a book or write a blog, and then they get to a certain point and they go, "This is just too much." If you can just stay on, then I think comparing it to a roller coaster. Imagine if you're on a roller coaster and it's going up and up and up and up and up and up. But then you could say, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And then they stop and then you go back down and it's okay. Not a lot of people would go over the roller coaster, but because you have no choice, you're like, okay, here we go. And then you just go down and then up and around. So if you kind of treat writing like a roller coaster where you have no choice, you're going to go on this wild ride and you can't get off until it's done. I think that's a good way to go about it. Try not to tap out, try not to give up halfway. Just go on the wild ride and see how it looks at the end.
Yeah, it was me when I did my transition. I just thought, oh my God, I started my process of transition near my 30. I finally decided to work professionally with visual arts at age 30. And I thought, oh, I thought, oh my God, I'm 30 and I start something. The concurrence is much younger than me. What to do? The inner voices start listening, talking to you, and you say, what to do, what to do. And I finally dare to jump because I thought there is a life ahead. And if I don't give the first step, as we talked before, how can I know if I will succeed or not? And since then, I publish stuff on social media, a roller coaster too. So
Yeah.
because I don't like social media too much. I have Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I need to, but I see the social media as work. I don't like to post each detail of my life. I never liked this.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's tough to like social media is a grind for sure. Just that daily posting and talking about yourself and hey, I did this, hey, I did that, or like yeah, social media is it's not fun. It's not fun.
Well, especially when and publishing videos that I appear and show my face, and I thought, oh, I'm not the kind of influencer. Actually, I call myself the digital uninfluencer because
Mm-hmm.
who wants to be me? I'm me. I don't try to be someone else. And well, I published the first video, then I saw people giving likes and some positive feedback, and I thought, okay, I can do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the people who did it are no smarter than you. If there's people who have done what you want to do in social media, they're just like you. Like they're not these geniuses who figured something out. They just tried and people resonated with them and now they're who they are. It's nothing. It's not rocket science. It's nothing crazy. It's just putting yourself out there and trying to get people to like what you or get people to connect with what you're doing. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I'm showing my creative self, my artist self, and artists must have public audience.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's the scary thing about art is that people need to see it. That's what's so scary about like museums and art galleries is people visit it and look at your art and criticize or comment and stuff like that. And the digital or social media is just a digital art museum where people are looking at it and yeah, it's very difficult.
I never thought about it. But yeah, I follow some museums and yeah, we do the same. The difference is we can read what they comment sometimes. But in art galleries, we can talk and well, I'm not there to listen.
Yeah, that's right. You just put it up there and walk away. Yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah, you can read all everyone's comments. And sometimes people on social media, people just write what they think. But in real life, people don't say what they think all the time. But in social media, people just they think something and just write it. And it's on the internet. And yeah.
Now let's talk about your daily routine. What does your morning routine look like and how does it motivate you for the day?
Yeah, my morning routine is like not something that would inspire you. I think I'm a very just like average morning person, just like get up. I still have a full-time job, work 9 to 5, so I have some time off now, so I was able to do this. But wake up, get ready for work, go to work, come home. I got married 6 weeks ago, so hang out with my wife.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, just hang out with my wife and yeah, like nothing too wild. I would say I'm more of like a night owl. I would say any work that I get done outside of my day job happens, after 7 p.m. probably, and then can run up until midnight, 1 a.m., stuff like that. So I definitely don't have like an influencer style morning routine where I'm up at 6 a.m. taking cold showers and supplements and all that. Like that's not quite me. I would say I do more of that stuff like kind of later on at night or on weekends and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. In my case, it's a bit more runny. I'm constantly running a lot and
Okay.
yeah.
What got you into running?
Because I wake up and do everything slowly, and then I look until looking at the clock and run.
Okay. Yeah. Just like in like very anxious, like very like, oh, let's go do this, go do that. Yeah. I know what you mean.
A 9 to 5 because I tried. Like anyone else because I'm a wild learner and I decided to follow entrepreneurship. A roller coaster for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Because take care of a business is not so easy. Sometimes people think, oh, you are at home all day long, so you are available all day long. No, I'm not.
No, yeah. That's yeah. Work from home people don't get a lot of respect because they think like, oh, you're just you're home. You're not working. How can you be working when you're in your pajamas? I know. Yeah.
And I took the favor to myself to sleep far from my phone. So my phone stays at my workplace, the room I reserve it to work, and my bedroom, no phone.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to go about it. I think having your phone in your bedroom is just not that's not conducive to a good sleep. Your bedroom at night should be dark, quiet, cold. It shouldn't be bright and loud.
So let's talk about goal. What is your ultimate goal for with your book and your work in helping people find their own answers?
Yeah, I mean, I think my goal is to just get as many people to find out about it as possible because I think I have something here that will help a lot of people, but it's no good if no one knows about it. So I'm just trying to get as many people to know about it, and I think podcast is a great way to go about it. So I'm appreciative of you having me on here. I want to also get into public speaking as well. I've done some of it in the past and want to do more of it. I have to make a website to do that, and I've been slacking on that. So thank you for reminding me. But I think, the ultimate goal is just to get as many people as I can to find out about the book and find out about the methods in the book so that it can ultimately help them. That's kind of my ultimate goal. And I realize that there's no finish line there. Do that forever. My end goal, it doesn't have an end. And I think that motivates you to keep going because I'll never get to the point where every single person on this planet knows about my book. There will always be someone who doesn't know and a new audience I can reach. So I think that keeps me motivated to just like keep doing podcasts, keep doing public speaking, keep getting my book out there, keep promoting. I think that's my ultimate goal, other than to be happy. The real goal is to be happy. But I think to be happy, you need to do things that make you happy, and talking about my book is one of those things.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's do a quick lightning round. You can answer quickly. So, what's your favorite question from your book?
Would you believe what you believe if you were the only one that believed it?
Right, let's go next. Who is a person that has profoundly impacted your life journey?
I already mentioned my parents, so I'll say my wife, definitely.
Okay, what's a book apart from your own that you recommend everyone should read?
The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch.
Describe your perfect day.
Perfect day. Wake up, go for a walk with my wife, get coffee, go to the gym, make lunch, go by the water, maybe go for a kayak ride, come home, watch some TV, make dinner, call my parents, watch a movie, go to bed.
So cute. What's one piece of advice you live by?
It's possible that you're wrong, but you should try and find out anyway. And if you try, it might work. And if you don't try, it definitely won't work.
Awesome. So this is the end of the lightning round. Thank you so much. And here is a bonus question. LA stores are always open to you. Would you come back one day if you could?
Absolutely. Would love to.
I'm really glad. I have many returning guests recently, and we had an insightful conversation about your unique approach to self-discovery and your book. I promised to read when I finish recording this season.
Perfect. Thank you.
And your perspective on asking the right questions instead of seeking external answers is truly enlightening. And I wish I could have more time to talk to you, so I kindly ask you to really come back one day.
Absolutely. I'll be curious once you read the book what you think about it. So maybe once you give it a read, give me a shout, and then I'll come back and we can talk about it. And hopefully you liked it.
Okay, so this is not a goodbye, it's more see you next time.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon, Layeh. I appreciate you having me. Thank
If life is one big flirting match between who you are and who you are becoming, Rob Maiolo reminds us it's okay to learn and wink back. You don't need all the answers. You just need a better question. You've been listening to Dickily Pirate Radio, where personal meets philosophical and curiosity is always in style, where self-inquiry gets to sit at the head of the table. If you like what you listen, please rate us 5 stars, like, share, and subscribe. See you, Lucky Man!